So why are you here exactly?
Oh, because you're a fully communist.
I'm not a communist.
Yes, you are.
No.
Got something to prove that. You can't hide from the law, buddy. Just can't.
Man, that's pretty incriminating evidence, huh?
Looks like I caught you red-handed.
Welcome back to the Collision Course. Now the story for this episode starts, for the most part, February 9th, 1950, when Senator Joseph McCarthy stepped into the spotlight of national attention with a speech given at Wheeling, West Virginia. He claimed to have in his possession information proving that more than 200 employees in the State Department were card-carrying members of the Communist Party. This set into motion a nearly decade-long hunt for communist sympathizers in an era of suspicion. Let's go to the fireplace, shall we? Let's open the letter, shall we? The letter is addressed to HUAC, or the House of Un-American Activities Committee, who, the U.S. House of Representatives, investigated allegations of the communist activity in the U.S. during the early years of the Cold War. Although established in 1938, HUAC is most active in the 1950s during Joseph McCarthy's accusations. HUAC went as far as to searching the houses of suspicious communist sympathizers. Now, actually, there were many people at the time period who thought that what McCarthy and HUAC was doing was unwarranted. But that may have been an unpopular opinion. Although there are political cartoons showing how HUAC shows an excuse for trampling into the lives of common people for the sake of hunting communists. Now, at this point in time, citizens were called upon to report individuals they suspected to be communists, and propaganda of a world overtorn by communism was depicted as a burning hellscape. Even the film industry was targeted. McCarthy claimed that filmmakers and artists were using their work to brainwash the minds of an impressionable youth. Specifically, actor Charlie Chaplin was targeted, and to this he had to say that the more we target artists and creators, the more we approach collapse. Additionally, President Truman had called out Joseph McCarthy. In a telegram to him, where he outlined his thoughts on how unfit he was to make these accusations, much less be a senator. But with all the disbelief, there's still a great belief in what Joseph McCarthy and HUAC was doing. Now, these accusations actually sparked a very real age of paranoia. In schools, children were taught using cartoons that there were evil communists everywhere, and that one must beware.
The farm vote will put a stop to this.
Farmers don't vote anymore.
What'll they do for seed next year?
You won't have to worry about next year. The state will do your planning from now on.
Starting in the 1990s, after the Cold War suspicions began to die down, historians began to revisit Joseph McCarthy's accusations. What they found, predominantly, was that those who McCarthy and HUAC, for that matter, investigated were not communist sympathizers. In fact, the majority of them were simply left-leaning politicians and artists. Historians have theorized that because of declining popularity and the need for a big issue to energize his run for a second term, McCarthy scrambled to play off the fears of American citizens for support. But now today, there's further debate on some of McCarthy's accusations. Whether they were accurate or not still remains to be seen. But the debate is open because some scholars have raised the question, where is the proof? I mean, sure, we have loads of primary documents, showing that these people were not in fact Soviet spies, but sure, they could have been communist sympathizers. But factually, what we know today is that these craze of accusations was most likely propagated in an attempt to target left-leaning politicians and artists, or to gain fame. That's all for this episode of Collision Course. See you next week, where we talk about the Mongols and how their history was also revised. Handed. Jesus. Well then, if you're not a communist, then what's that on your screen? I don't even know why you think of... Okay, I did not put that there.